Elden Ring. When I hear the name of a game a month later, I think of the experience I had. I first heard this game in 2019, it was a cinematic trailer at E3, and I thought, hey, that looks cool. But I saw the name of From Software and I appreciate their games, myself personally. Never been able to complete one. I attempted Dark Souls 3, got my ass whooped, and I found myself deleting the game after 6 hours. 6 months later, I tried Bloodborne, did slightly better, but again fell stuck in a barrier which so many others also fell stuck into. And then Demon Souls came out. Released on PS5 as one of Sony's flagship launch titles, I saw the graphics of this title and I thought, holy shit. I was fortunate enough to get Demon Souls on the PS5 on launch day, and I began to play Demon Souls, and I think, based on just how beautiful graphics-wise that game was, it just pushed me through to beat Demon Souls. It gave me the persistence which I lacked when playing Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3, and I was beginning to see why people love these games. For those who have played Demon Souls, Tower Knight is quite an early boss, and I got my ass kicked for 5 hours, but I kept trying and trying, and when I defeated him, I felt achievement. And what I learnt from that one boss helped me complete the rest of Demon Souls. It taught me patience, self-control, and persistence. All three of them qualities are essential to complete From Software titles. I understand now what Hideaki Miyazaki wanted to create with his Souls titles. The sense of achievement for being stuck on something for so long and to finally overcome the task, you feel proud. Then myself completing Demon Souls gave me the confidence to try Sekiro. And Sekiro, wow. It shapes up everything. Each boss teaches you the new combat system and essential mechanics you will need for the next boss. It's this constant learning pattern and muscle memory training, quite incredible. What I learned playing Sekiro in those 80 hours was probably most the amount of learning I've ever done in a video game. Genichiro teaches you how to perfectly block. Guy's Bow teaches grapple attacks. Owl teaches you Makiri counters and all thing you need to complete the game. Now this is an Elden Ring review. You may be wondering why over the last couple of minutes I've mentioned previous From Software titles. Well, one of the reasons is I thought Elden Ring got their boss design and game balance. It's my biggest criticism of this great game. Now I wouldn't say Elden Ring is easier than previous From Software games, but there are items that can make some of the bosses that like one-shots or a couple of hits. And that's a big problem for me. Because you miss those lessons and that sense of achievement that Sekiro taught me, or Demon Souls. Now, I don't live under a rock. One of the reasons Elden Ring has been so successful is because everyone can play it. It's not had those barriers that myself experienced when playing Bloodborne, for example. Now, I'm all for that, but I still think that bosses should be maybe not as difficult as previous From Software titles, but at least a hurdle for you to try and think about, and spend time getting over it. In Elden Ring, with some of the items available to the player, I'm talking about summons and mimic here especially, the bosses don't feel like a hurdle, but something you bend over on a Saturday night. Now that is not how From Software games should operate. It should be the boss or Miyazaki bending you over on a Saturday night until you patiently wait and spend time learning your attacks and movement to defeat the boss. This constant learning process is just mostly missing in Elden Ring. The hours where this game was at its best for me was in Stormvale Castle and some of the early bosses I faced. It was a proper From Software, a true 1v1, which when I faced Godric, the first demigod, it took me 30 attempts roughly, and boy oh boy, I loved it. A fair boss fight which punished you for being too greedy on hits, and every time you faced him you learnt how to dodge or punish one of his attacks. It was a From Software boss design at its best, and I couldn't one-shot or cheat him with Mimic Tear. It was me with my crappy sword against him, it done like 70 damage a hit. It was brilliant. Now this is a bit controversial, and I'm not sure where I even stand on game balancing on this, but I'll try and give my thoughts best I can. 2 weeks after Elden Ring launch, I saw a post on Bandai Namco's social media saying 12 million players have purchased Elden Ring. In just 2 weeks, that number is insane, and new players all over the world are trying some of my favourite games and seeing the beauty of From Software's work. The reason why the sales are so much higher, apart from the obvious The Beautiful World, is because Miyazaki's design of Elden Ring makes the player more tools in the forms of summons and a better load of overpowered weapons to easily defeat the bosses. And this is where Elden Ring, I think, could have got game balancing slightly better. Now my issue is there are items in the game where I've seen one-shot a boss, and what I've mentioned earlier in the sense of achievement and the lessons you're taught by bosses in some of the previous games, for example, is just vanished because in Elden Ring some of the bosses you just one-shot. And when you're not 1v1ing a boss, you're missing out on that certain lessons. Mimic Tear is too overpowered in my opinion. Even after it's been nerfed, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's not a boss when you and a Mimic Tear 2v1 it, and you just hit the boss from behind. I understand the point, don't use them. For example, don't use the Mimic Tier. But if you can make the game easier for yourself, of course you would do it, especially in From Software games. You, Elden Ring should have got the balancing right from the beginning. I want the new players to feel a sense of achievement. I'm not talking about being stuck on the boss for hours, but at least make them try and learn the boss's attack pattern, instead of them walk in and spam some spell or Mimic Tier that one hits it. And I really wish Elden Ring was more balanced on its release. Now moving on to the open world. Some more praise now. Elden Ring's open world design is probably the best I've ever played. The variety of environments and areas of the game is just stunning to me. For a company that don't make worlds in general, to produce this was absolutely mind-blowing. The elevation of the world changes. I watched SkillUp's review when Elden Ring released, and his quote sums it up perfectly. The catalytic collisions of tectonic plates, uneven, formed and splintered. That sums up the world in my opinion. Brilliant writing from SkillUp. When I play open world games myself personally, I'm after a fantastic story, meaningful side quests, fun characters, a good combat system throughout, enemy variety, a beautiful world with changing environments. Elden Ring ticks all them boxes. The NPC quests are mostly well written, and I had some fun with them. The enemy variety in combat gives you so many ways to approach what's in front of you. You can keep your distance with spells, going gunplays with katana, crouch or try and skip past them and pick them off one by one. Before Elden Ring came out, I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, and I was enjoying that game, but the combat is mostly the same throughout. Pick off some machine ports, and do the same again. And I thought the open world was pretty average, but the difference between Horizon and Elden Ring, on Horizon you're mostly ticking the map, go to this camp clear a cauldron, clear it, and I just want to be clear, I'm not shitting on Horizon. For this I love the game. However, in Elden Ring it doesn't tell you when you've cleared something. It doesn't tell you when that cave's completed or that castle. There were areas of games I was scared I was missing, so I was actually doing backtracking, something I rarely do in video games. I normally want to just run through and complete the game, but I'm never somewhere I don't have to be longer than I need to. Every 10 to 15 hours of this beautiful open world, I was in a different environment, ranging from snow to the capital, or a fucking volcano. I absolutely loved this. The world changed so much and brought such a different and fresh feel with each region. Playtimes for this game, if you explore nearly everything, it took me about 80 to 85 hours. Running through the game, 50 to 60 minutes. Now, who would I recommend this game to? To be completely honest, I recommend this game to nearly everyone with basic video game skills. I have two friends who couldn't complete Demon's Souls, but one of them has easily defeated Elden Ring, and the other is currently 70 hours in. Elden Ring is definitely accessible to more people and everywhere in this film title, and it's fantastic. In conclusion, what I think most people will experience when defeating the final boss and seeing the ending is a mixed one. I don't think they will get the sense of achievement. I didn't personally, but that could be different for a new player who has never been able to beat a From Software game. So I really hope that new players did get that sense of achievement when I completed it. I remember thinking in the world was the best I've ever played it, and I've never been able to experience 80 hours of single gameplay without it feeling like a chore. I've enjoyed all 80 hours. Value for money is fantastic. I think Elden Ring is like Breath of the Wild in 2017, was a game that defined a generation, and Elden Ring will win Game of the Year in December, and that I have no doubt. And I'm interested to see From Software's next project. Elden Ring, you were fantastic. Thank you.